going back to where the beach is near, the beer is dear, there's plenty of women and the crack. Walking
here we are in the final second, the whistle is gone, and Sligo Rovers are the champions.
By the riverside, you can watch the tide as it flows.
No, I'm being told that Average Joe's does not have enough players and will be forfeiting the championship match.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
Very tight and drive it clean out over the fence. Out in the field, the corner.
In the bookie shop, I done.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Ocean FM's coverage of the Energia All-Ireland League Division 2B match between Belfast Harlequins and Sligo. We join myself, Graham Dewhurst, and Ross O'Boyle, Sligo Senior Team Manager. Welcome, Ross.
Thank you, Graham.
Looking forward to today's game.
Yeah, it's got everything shaping up to be a cracker.
So we're playing 5th against 6th today. So Sligo sitting in 5th position in the table and Harlequins in 6th. It's a changeable day up here in South Belfast in Northern Ireland, and it's going to be a really interesting one to see how the teams deal with the match. Just about 10 minutes before kick-off, there was quite a strong breeze blowing in the faces of Harlequins, who are defending the clubhouse end of the pitch. And as my notes go flying, it shows you that there's real gusts of wind. Who do you think will handle this better, Ross?
Well, it looks like we've the wind on our back quite strongly in the first half, so I'd expect us to be using that and kicking to the corners and getting territory.
Well, here we go. Paul O'Connor is the referee today, the Leinsterman. He's getting ready to get the teams underway, and it's Josh Reeves with ball in hand, waiting to get the Sligo team off and running. And up it goes, no doubt. Sligo will be aiming for territory in this first half. It's claimed by Harlequins in their own 22 over on the left-hand side. A good early barracking run by Harlequins to get outside their 22, and they'll be looking at box kick, no doubt, to clear the lines early doors, and that's well done by Lee Stingson, but it doesn't make touch, and it's in the hands of Byrne, the big number 8 for Sligo. So Sligo have possession just inside Harlequins' half. Good run by the forwards, getting a couple of metres. They're on the right-hand side of the pitch, going left. Good big pass out. Lovely carry. He's going to be a tough man to bring down this afternoon. Sligo move left again. Reeves, who's going to control things. A little tap on it out in the left-hand side, still halfway line. Callum Goddard this time takes the ball in. Solid tackling from Harlequins. Sligo try down the blind side. A little bit of a dart from Gilvary, but brought into touch. Does that give you a little bit of an idea about what Sligo's tactics are going to be today?
Yeah, look, that was a nice early statement of intent there, getting the ball wide to the width. Sligo were looking to play some rugby, some good carries from Rob Holian and Pedro Bengalo, getting over the gain line and setting up a good platform for Gilvary. So, yeah, good positive signs early doors.
And it's our first line out of the afternoon. It's going to be an interesting day for hookers. It's very swirling breeze. Harlequins, Joel Dundas is Ulster School's hooker. So let's see how he does. It's a 5-man line out on Harlequins' 10-metre line.
Yes.
And it's immediately Sligo got up and stolen that, but Harlequins have got it back. It was knocked backwards, well claimed by Marshall for Harlequins. Harlequins pick and go through the forwards. 15 metres in from the right-hand touchline inside Harlequins' half. Passes it to the number 14, McConnell. And Sligo are making great work of that in defence, but Harlequins still have possession. They're lined up on the right, but Harlequins go left. Centre pitch, just short of the halfway line. Harlequins a little bit of a dash by Lee Stingson. Both scrum halves so far trying to make an impression, but Sligo, it looks like they've held that up. It'll be a maul, it'll be a scrum, and a bit frenetic at line-out time, but a solid defence from Sligo there.
Yeah, encouraging signs in Sligo, meeting them beyond the gain line, and Rob Holian there holding up the scrum half, forcing the turnover for Sligo.
So if you're just joining us, this is the All-Ireland League Division 2B match between Belfast Harlequins and Sligo up at Derrimore Park in Belfast. It's I think it's good. It's going to be really exciting to see these two teams go at it. It's 5th and 6th in the table, and there's a real prize in stake here because whoever wins this game will obviously go top half of the table, and whoever loses will go bottom. But with the teams in 3rd and 4th playing each other today, you're guaranteed to leapfrog either Blackrock or Wanderers or both.
Yeah,
So
yeah. It's been such a tight league all season. There's literally 3 or 4 points between 2nd place and 6th place.
And one thing that's really going to help Sligo is winning that scrum battle, and they've won it. They've taken a penalty quickly, and off they go. Callum Goddard across the 22, brought down 5 metres short of the Harlequins line. Centre pitch, have Harlequins got in? They've illegally tried to get in to claim that. It still goes right. Sligo hands, 5 metres short of the Harlequins line. Huge start for Sligo. Have Harlequins managed to turn that over? I think they have, and they're going to try and set up a little bit of a defensive position so that they can clear their lines. Huge moment for Sligo in this game.
Yeah, that was a good. It was a scrum penalty won by Sligo, and we tapped and went. Josh Reeve found a gap and put Cal Goddard away in the halfway line. Cal made it to the 5 metre mark, and then Belfast were able to turn it over. But good attacking endeavour from Sligo. Cal Goddard finding a lovely gap.
And you talk about like NFL quarterbacks are the captain. They're the ones who are the most important people. They run the show. To have Josh Reeves, player coach, in at 10. I mean, what difference does that make to a team?
Oh, it's ever since he's come in, it's been a massive boost. It's probably one of the most important positions on the pitch to have an experienced player in, as you said, that quarterback. And Josh, 30 caps for Brazil, international player, adding massive expertise and experience to his to Hubert Calvary, a young man with a bright future, earning his trade, learning lots.
Yeah, and here goes Sligo again. They very cleverly did a little short line out. They're inside Harlequins 22 because the clearance kick didn't go too far. They're in possession here, 15 metres in from the right hand side, although they are screaming for it to go right. Josh Reeves does a raking crossfield kick. Where'll the bounce end up? Just eludes their own number 11, Cian Torno, and into touch, but there was an offside, and referee Paul O'Connor brings it back again. Reeves in the centre.
Yeah. With the crossfield kick, just went a bit too far, but Sligo had the advantage. Craig Trimble, the big man from Donegal, with a carry. He's been in great form of late, making a nuisance, winning the penalty. So I'd imagine we're going to go for posts here.
Yeah, there's a slight injury just for Connacht. It's hard to see. It does look like a second row down there, is it?
Yeah, I think it's Rob Holian.
Surely not Big Rob. But 2 tries against Harlequins back in Hamilton Park. He's a crucial man to have in the engine room, isn't he?
Yeah, the big Ballon Road man. He's been sensational for us this year, going viral, doing chip kicks on fullbacks. But he's a crucial part of that team. Loves to get on the ball, get us over the gain line. His work rate is phenomenal. So we'll be hoping it's nothing too serious and that Rob can continue to play.
It sort of feels like finally we can take a breather. It's been somewhat frenetic start. It's great to see both teams are keen to play some running rugby and not just hoof it into the corners and try and utilise the wind. Yeah,
look, we've. I think in the last 6 games we've really just started to click and attack, and that's been our style, that we like to attack. So obviously we've seen it here with quick taps early doors and putting fellas through gaps. So as I said, a chance to slow it down now. Josh has been in great form with the boot. I don't want to jinx him here.
No, but, commentator's curse early on.
Yeah. But he's been kicking the ball well.
So it's from that resultant penalty, Sligo, as Ross alluded to, has opted to have a go at the sticks, and they've set it up just inside Harlequins 22, about 20 metres in from the right-hand side, and perfect for a left-footed kicker like Josh Reeves. With the wind at his back, in some ways it could go against you, that, because you've got to just not give it too much. But as you say, a man of his calibre, you'd like to think this would be the early points on the board. So here he goes, he takes his time. Only 3 steps up to the ball. He's put it right the way through the middle, and
there we go.
You'd put your mortgage on that, wouldn't you?
I didn't want to. He was 8 from 8 going into that kick. I didn't want to say it before it went over, but that's 9 from 9.
He had a phenomenal week last week, didn't he, against Greystones?
Yeah,
100% kicking record.
Last week, yeah.
And it's a warning to Harlequins that they have to just not give away penalties.
Yeah, he's been in good form, so I'm sure they will be aware that they'll need to be clean in their own half of the pitch.
And Harlequins get the game underway. James McKinney kicks it down into Sligo's half for the first time. Good fielding by Sligo. Harlequins bring them down halfway between Sligo's 22 and 10 metre line, and it's going to be a Reeves clearance kick up into the air. Is it going to be claimed by Harlequins? Brilliant catch by the winger, who goes off on a dander side. The big number 8, actually it was, Daryl Marshall. Eludes us all with his pace. Harlequins on the halfway line, over on the left hand side, going through the forwards. Looked a little touch high, but referee was right on the money. Good show and go by Scott McClelland. Belfast Harlequins across the halfway line, centre pitch, change of direction, going left. Lovely little run by the forwards. Lee Steenson the Drumore man who came up from junior ranks to give a bit of depth to the Harlequins squad, is really looking lively at 9 already for Harlequins. Here they go through the phases, right through the back line, over to McConnell again, who's looked lively, and he's going to be quickly cleaned out, but there's no scrum half there. Steenson gets there eventually, puts it back inside, still running around near Sligo's 10-metre line, centre pitch now, really going through the back line, all the way across, over to the left-hand side for Harlequins. There does look to be a wee bit of an overlap, but Sligo have done well to bring them down. This is draining stuff for the defence. Harlequins still in possession. This time Stephen Hunter, the big number 1, takes it up for Harlequins. It's bobbling around, but Harlequins do manage to get it back under control again. As Steenson, not sure whether to go left or right. Lovely flick by James McKinney at 10. He's some player for Harlequins. Still centre pitch on the 10-metre line. As Harlequins continue to pound, we must be into double figures for phases. Over to the left-hand side. Sligo starting to slow in defence. There's a bit of walking going on from the forwards, understandably. We're really clocking through the phases now rightly as Steenson goes right to the second row. McKelvey in the second row, halfway between Sligo's 10 and 22. Back to McKinney, all the way out to the right hand side now on the halfway line. The big 13 Fijian Imi takes the ball in on the far right hand side. Steenson goes left. Great hit by Jack Bowl, the Irish under-19 prop forward. Sligo's defence, though, they're holding Harlequins out all the time. Really looking big hit there in the centre pitch, but he's left a bit of an overlap. It's 3-on-2. Harlequins across the 22 on the far left-hand side. Not the greatest pass out to the winger, but there is the referee does have his arm out. I'm not too sure what the advantage is being played. Harlequins for offside. Harlequins halfway inside Sligo 22, 15 metres in from the left-hand side. They're going right. They're centre pitch. The big prop Stephen Hunter gets the ball again. 10 metres out now from Sligo line. They're screaming for it right. Can they go all the way? Lovely little show of go, but good tackling by Sligo. 15 metres from the right-hand side. Still 10 metres out. It slows down a little bit. McKinney, the 10, has to go into the 9 shirt. And there's Jazz Andres. Takes it in again. The forwards really working hard from both sides. Good drive there from second row. Shuttleworth a little bit high, but 1 metre away from the Sligo line. Are they going to get across, or will Sligo stay strong? Oh, good tackling there in the centre. We're still midfield here. 5 metres out. Harlequin still going. Good defence again by Sligo. They need to look tight, and it's going to be a penalty advantage. Penalty to Harlequins right in front of the posts. It's all gone a little bit sorry, but that was really impressive stuff from Harlequins.
Must have been close to 20 phases there. Really impressive stuff. Harlequins showing that they can move the ball when they want to as well. Sligo defence was getting up to it.
And you have to say there's 3 Sligo players down on knees, sitting on the ground. That is draining defensively.
Absolutely. That was it, getting down, getting up, getting down, getting up, getting down, getting up. But it was good defence all the same.
Yeah. They held Harlequins on their own 10-metre line for,
there was some good
for
big
15 phases of that 20.
There was some big double tackles that went in as well. And Harlequins are kind of running out of ideas there a little bit towards the end. They'd say that they're happy that they had that penalty advantage to go back to. But it'll give Sligo a bit of heart for their defensive efforts as well. But as I said, there's a few men on their knees now, and hopefully nothing serious there.
Well, I hope you're enjoying this this live match on Ocean FM. I'm Graham Dewhurst and Ross O'Boyle beside me here commentating on this one, and it's been a hugely exciting start to the game. 3-0 Sligo lead at the minute, but Harlequins from the penalty are going to take the kick at posts, and you kind of think pretty much straight in front you should be a banker.
You'd imagine so, and the wind seems to have taken a lull as well, so there shouldn't be an issue there.
Not too sure who's down there. Is that Bengalo? Is it?
Pedro Bengalo is down there. He doesn't usually go down injured, so I'm hoping it's nothing too serious.
Mind you, if this was old school days,
Rob Holian's going off as well.
Was Rob Holian off? That is disappointing. I mean, yeah, after such a short period of time to lose such a key man.
Yeah, we're 13 minutes gone, but it feels like we're there. It could be nearly half time, the amount that's gone in so far.
It's crazy.
So Rob is going off. I see his head's down. He looks disappointed. Hopefully it's nothing too serious. And
I was going to say, with it being rolling subs, you could potentially take him off for a little bit.
Correct.
Give him 10-15 minutes just to kind of
get a breather,
recover, see what's happening. But as you say, there's kind of a shake of the head and a bit of a head down that doesn't look too positive.
No, so I'm just trying to see what looks to be the substitution there. We have Kuba Wakowicz on the bench, and he can slot into the front row, into the back row, and he even did a stint in second row last week as well. You could put him anywhere.
I've also noticed a change for Harlequins early doors as well. Mark Kyle in the 20 shirt has come on probably at fullback, you would have thought, but Mark is a vastly experienced player, 37-year-old Ulster representative. So yeah, interesting to see him coming on so early as well. Not too sure who went off. I can't see a 15 shirt for Harlequins, but raft of changes.
Number 20 seems to be on for Harlequins.
So just to give you a little bit of history in this fixture then, obviously both sides are relatively new to 2B. Both have sort of come from different directions.
Yes.
Harlequins, maybe 15 years ago would have been up in 1A and
Correct,
1B closing around, and have sort of dropped off in the latter 10 years, and Sligo very much the opposite.
Yeah, but as Harlequins seem to really getting themselves together now and are pushing onwards.
Yeah.
I think the last couple of seasons they just seem to be in a bit of a holding pattern.
Yeah.
But it seems that they've really, they've got a good coaching ticket there with Doak and Andreas involved. I know that their aspirations are definitely to start pushing back up them tables as well. No more than ourselves.
Yeah, exactly. And they also brought in Ireland lock Dan Toohey as line-out coach. So even just watching their warm-up, there was a professional edge to it that maybe, as you say, has been missing for a while.
Settings as well. The surroundings are phenomenal here.
Oh yeah, definitely. Harlequins, a relatively young side in modern rugby, didn't form until 1999, but they were a combination of North of Ireland and Collegians. Rugby, who have a vast history going back to as far as Sligo, back to the 1890s. So some good history here. We're still waiting. Just that it's a bit slightly worrying. Pedro Bengalo still down, and as Ross said, he doesn't go down easily, does the big man? So
yeah, I think he's got a cut on his leg, a bit of a deep cut. So I don't think he's going to be continuing.
Which is a real shake-up, and especially because how tight the last game against Quins was down at Hamilton Park.
Yeah, absolutely. He'd be a key part of our pack if he goes off. He started every single game for us at tight head. He's been playing close to 80 minutes. So we'll have to reshuffle. I'd imagine Kuba will come on and he'll go to tight head. And Kuba's some substitution to bring on. Played Irish under 20s. He's a fella who'll really step in, and he'll bring a bit of a ball carrying game and physicality, and a very dynamic player. So he won't be there to make up the numbers when he comes on.
And Sligo have a very good record, even in the short time they've played each other.
Yeah, I believe the Harlequins chairperson was telling me that they've never beaten Sligo.
No, four. This is the fourth meeting of the team. Well, they've met 4 times before, and all 4 have been in victory for Sligo. So I suppose that will be a confidence booster for the men in their red, yellow and black.
Yeah, it is, but it's just every game, as I said, this league,
it's crazy,
it's like a final now. And you don't sit in the past, and every single game you just have to go out and treat it like a final, and that's what the attitude has been all week. We've just been focusing on this game.
Well, last week's was a final. It felt that way.
It was intense. It was as good a game I've seen outside of professional rugby. The intensity was high, and the performance was there. We couldn't fault the performance. We made 1 or 2 mistakes that you learn. We'll learn from them mistakes, and we'll fully believe that when it comes to the tail end of the season, that we'll be able to go to Greystones and get a result there. Yeah, well, it's all in Sligo's own hands, but it's very much for both these sides sitting 5th and 6th. I mean, you could throw a blanket over the teams in the middle of this league, and every fixture is crucial, isn't it? Harlequins, I mean, they came off the back of an absolute hammering away to Wanderers last week, but they beat Wanderers up here earlier in the season last week. Yeah,
and it's a crazy sort of league, isn't it?
It is, and Wanderers are a massive team. Like, they're going to finish strong as well, and Corinthians are flying it at the moment, and Blackrock have a great squad. So it's going to be, 7 doesn't go into 4, so there's going to be some good teams missing out at the end of the season in those playoff places. Now, it's a different format now. It's gone to 1 up, 1 down. They've changed it now. So in traditional years, the champion of the league would have got automatically promoted, and then the rest of the guys are going to a playoff. But now it's the top 4 going to a playoff at the end of the year. 1v4, 2v3.
And I think it's probably hard for the ones sitting up with the pinnacle, because their season, from a first perspective, by the looks of the points, could almost be over in about 4 weeks' time.
Greystones come out of the traps flying it, absolutely flying it, and it seems to be. It seems to be, since that announcement was made, that they've still been winning their games. They lost 1 game, but this, I wouldn't say that they're holding themselves back, but they've definitely just have been a little bit different since that announcement was made.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So look, we're still, just to keep you up to date. There's Pedro Bengalo is being he's up and walking, which is good, and he's just being escorted off the pitch gingerly, it has to be said, and both sides move from their little passing warm-up drills to try and get back into this, but it's just to update you of where we were. It's a penalty to Belfast Harlequins. They've opted to kick, and it's just in front of the posts, 15 metres in, and well, we almost were about to see some old school scrum half lying on the ground holding the ball.
Yeah, the wind has picked up. It wasn't when we spoke earlier, but look, for Pedro, I believe there's an ambulance on the way. It's going to need stitches on his legs, on his leg. So hopefully now it's not going to be too serious.
Yeah, well, hopefully not for him. And it'll be interesting to see how these teams adjust to that break in play.
Yeah, it'll be hard to just get straight back into that intensity again.
And Paul Kerr, the break certainly did not affect him as he levels the scoreline at 3 points apiece. Obviously, Josh Reeves, if you're just tuning in, the score is now up at Derrimore Park. Harlequins 3, Sligo 3. Josh Reeves got an early penalty after sustained pressure. And Harlequins level the score in similar fashion, it has to be said. Very even Stevens, and the score reflects that.
Yeah, and the table reflects it as well. The league table. You know,
true.
These two teams are just very, very close.
So Sligo get the game underway again, and they've kicked it really deep down to Harlequins' 5 metre line, and it's just hoofed straight back again up to the halfway line. Still, the ball still in play. Sligo on the halfway line and running hard, but a monster hit by the big Fijian Imi at 13. Sligo still in possession on the halfway line, 15 metres in from the right hand side. Set up a bit of a rolling maul and get it going forward, bring it to ground. Off they go again, little pop passes, and there's the replacement, Kuba, and good to see him in off the bench. Number 14, Finn Young, takes it up down the left-hand side, pounds the legs, 5 metres in from the left-hand side on the Harlequins' 10 metre line, going right through the forwards, good tackling. Gilvari passes it right to Reeves. Reeves controlling things nicely. A 10.5 break there from the hooker
nice
O'Hare.
From James O'Hare, yeah. Also another substitution. Jake Sexton came on for Rob Holian.
So a huge amount of substitutions already in this game as Cogetto goes down the right-hand channel, and they've got another penalty, Harlequins, this time for holding on in the ruck. And if they didn't learn their lesson the first time, they may well have to learn it now, because that's very kickable. Well, I say very kickable. I say very kickable from looking at Josh Reeves and thinking... Yeah,
not from myself or yourself perspective, but...
So we are 5 metres in from the right-hand side, just inside Harlequins' 10 metre line, but with the wind solidly behind him and a left-footed kicker,
yeah.
you kind of think he'll drift this out left and just pull it in through the posts, but I sound more like a kicking expert than a second row.
Yeah, look, it was Sligo were able to get back into that attacking pattern. Josh finding James O'Hare with another gap there. He's picking his right passes, and Guilherme Cogetto with another nice run down the blind side there in a bit of space before we won the penalty.
Cogetto also the Sligo women's coach, along with the injured player Pedro Bengalo, who just went off. So they're certainly adding plenty to Sligo rugby.
Oh, they're adding an absolute massive amount, and Guilherme is also coaching Summerhill College as well, the senior team, and they've got a game against Garbley this week in the Senior Cup. So the guys are doing a lot of stuff off the pitch.
So here we go. He steps up. He's drilled out very nicely. It's off the right hand upright and away, and it's not going to get too much closer than that.
Oh yeah.
But with the wind behind you, you always have the benefit of, well, what's the worst that happens?
Yeah.
You've got a 22 dropout into a stiff breeze. So the pressure's still going to be on Harlequins. They're going to have to kick that off. You've got to think as well, with a win behind, you've got to get some points from a Sligo perspective, because Harlequins are going to come back into that. And there's the ball doing a loop-the-loop, and it almost ends up back in Harlequins' hands, but a knock-on. And the ball travelled outwards,
and then
turned
backwards,
round and came boomerang back.
Yeah. So it's a scrum for Sligo in the middle of the park. So it'll be interesting to see how the scrum is now after the couple of changes on both sides. Is this our first scrum of the game?
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Yeah, I think it is, and that's a measure of how good the game's been from a skills perspective. That we really have had very few knock-ons. Yeah. But a perfect position for a scrum. We're centre pitch, halfway between Harlequins 10 and 22, and Josh Reeves is standing directly behind the number 8. He's not committing right or left. and right behind him is Cogetto. It does look like a quarterback running back scenario. They've got another penalty, and I think Josh Reeves will just say thanks very much. We'll take the points.
Yeah, the referee was very quick to put the arm up there. I didn't see
Yeah.
it now. Someone must have slipped down on the Harlequin side, but he was very quick to blow the whistle. So Sligo with a penalty now in front of the posts.
Pistol Paulie, the referee today. That's his, who we've got in. That's his nickname, and he was quick in the draw.
He certainly was, yeah.
The whistle. I'll not do any more puns. It's terrible.
I'll allow it. Yeah. No, I would have. I'm happy with the penalty, but I would have liked to seen how the scrum
'cause
progressed.
It was just lining up nicely. You
Yeah.
hit that. It's always annoying from a back's perspective when you've got a nice wee move planned.
That was it, and he was standing right behind Josh, always hidden
Yeah.
behind him. So I was looking forward to seeing what they had planned.
Yeah.
We've done a lot of work on our scrum in the last couple of weeks. We actually have Lucas Abud over with us on a holiday from Brazil. He actually is a 45 capped prop for Brazil, and he's over just doing a little bit of coaching for us, getting a bit of an experience.
Wow,
so he's
brilliant.
been doing a lot of one-on-one stuff with the boys.
With fellow Brazilian international Josh Reeves. So here he goes. And has he put that left? I think he has put that
he
left,
has.
and there was a big shout of.
Yeah.
And it just shows
Disappointed.
that with the wind at the backs and that swirling wind, it can sometimes be just as difficult to control. One from three today now. So Harlequins on their own 22, ready to clear the lines. Just a wee reminder for those listening in there, it's quite a stiff breeze that Harlequins are playing into in this first half. They're defending the clubhouse end of Derrimore Park in South Belfast. Sligo with a strong wind at their backs, but 3-3 the scoreline here in this All-Ireland League Division 2B match, as Harlequins kick it deep this time up to the halfway line, gathered by Sligo on the right-hand side. Gilvary gives it out to his forwards, who hit it up again, still on the halfway line, but still going left. Craig Trimble, the second row, carries. Harlequins sending them backwards, forcing Josh Reeves to kick. Huge high kick, deep down, but it's going to bounce, and it might well bounce all the way dead if that ball keeps going. And they're not going to let it. Harlequins,
No.
It was a fight to see who could dive on it first.
Yeah, so that's going to be a goal line dropout, I believe. The new rules.
Yep. It was
Another
good.
man down, Craig Trimble down. We won't want to see him go off.
Yeah, especially another second row. I mean, you're going to be looking at knocking back rows in. He's got his head on his hands, and
Yeah, he was hit quite hard there on that tackle.
Yeah.
He's driven into the ground, but Craig's another tough cookie. Hopefully, he can walk this one off.
it's such a shame, not just for players, but for the flow of the game, because it had the potential in the first 10 minutes to be epic.
There was fireworks in the first 10 minutes, but it's just hoping how Craig can get up. We've had an extensive injury list going into this game. We really could do with the week off next week and get some of them tired bodies back. We came down last night. We stayed in the Ivanhoe Hotel. We didn't do any training. It's the end of a block of three, and the boys are, you can see it out there that it's been attritional, and we're just trying to the boys need to work on getting the bodies right. So after this game, there'll be a nice little downtime, and we'll be doing a lot of recovery work. Yeah,
next match up in the All-Ireland for Sligo, not until the 19th of February. But what a match it'll be. Blackrock, welcome to Hamilton Park. Who knows where they'll sit, but whatever happens today, they'll be within a stone's throw on the points.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, look, we've had some good battles at Blackrock over the last couple of years, and we brings out the best in each team. Highly closely contested fixture, so I'm sure it'll be the same again. Craig Trimble is up. Looks like he's going to continue.
Well,
looks like maybe not for much long, I wouldn't say, though.
Well, I mean, he's not sprinting around like a young gazelle, is he? Injured gazelle, maybe, but regardless, we'll have to keep reminding you where we are in this game here, because it's for you just joined us. It's 3-3 Harlequins against Sligo up at Derrimore Park. A big kick from Josh Reeves went dead, so the new rules of course say that it's a Belfast Harlequins goal line dropout, so they're just behind their own posts here, and it's like a 22 dropout, but closer in, so again it's difficult defensively for Harlequins. They're going to have to try and drill this, and it ball holds up a little bit. Finn Young from Sligo, the right winger, gathers it on the 10 metre line. Josh Reeves now skips through one tackle halfway now between the Quins 22 and 10 metre line. Some lovely little interplay with the forwards and backs there as Sligo drive forward. That's a nice little bit of work by Sligo. 5 metres out from the Harlequins 22 on the left hand side And Gavin now takes it in this time, and again the ball coming recycled. There just needs to go through the phases, Sligo, I think, just to get it back. A little bit of a scattered ball, and already Paul, the referee, has his arm out, but I'm not too sure if it's an advantage or not. Some big hits going in from Harlequins, and the ball is skittering around all over the pitch. And again, Reeves has to put boot to ball, and it's going to bounce very nicely down into the 22. Under a bit of pressure there, wasn't it?
Yeah, it got a bit scattered there, but then Josh just sat back and was able to, look up and see that space in the corner and put the ball in.
Cool, calm and collected. He was actually very nearly in his own half, which would have given them that 50-22, but not to be. So it's going to be a Harlequins put in halfway inside their own 22 over on the right hand side.
Yeah, there's some nice carries here. James O'Hare had a nice ball inside to Jake Sexton, who found a bit of space. And then, as I said, Josh able to sit back there, put us into the corner. So Harlequins under a little bit of pressure to get out of here.
So here we go, Joel Dundas. It's a full line out for Harlequins. They dummy in the middle, send to the front. This time they do take it cleanly. Only about the third line out in this match so far.
It hasn't been a game for the set piece purists.
Not at all. But Sligo really trying to make a menace of themselves in this line out. And the little scrum half for Harlequins picks and goes round the side and sets up a ruck. So they're not going to have the option to box kick here. The Harlequins pack are going to have to set this up a few times. They're closing in on their 22, so they are making good yardage with the carry as Lee Steenson gets ready to left foot kick this, and they're going to see where it ends up. It's going deep, and it's going to end up into the arms of Tom Morris. Actually, it's robbed. It was Ginchorno, but there Cogetto came in to take that off him. And Sligo are now in possession, just shy of the Harlequins 22. They're screaming a forward over in the right, and they do have a bit of an overlap. Can Sligo get it all the way out? Now they knock it on in the midfield. And it's in fact it's been given us a knock on against Harlequins advantage wise. So Sligo's still in possession inside Harlequins 22 over on the right hand side. And in fact it was a purposeful knock on from Harlequins.
The referee blew a whistle there as if he's going to do something, have a bit of a talk. Could be a card coming here.
It was a funny one, actually. It wasn't what you would consider a purposeful knock-on, as in somebody knocking it down.
It just looked like frantic part of a tackle.
Yeah. So again,
but he just gave that "you're in trouble" ref whistle there.
Yeah, and he really is, because as you very quickly sussed out, he does look like he's going for his pocket, doesn't he?
Yep, hands in the pocket.
And you've got to think it's for the big Fijian Imi, and there's a
What's
a
that
bit
for?
of
Shouts the man below us.
a bit of consternation from the supporters, but very quick the referee to give that, and I would say closing in on half time, you've got to think that this is Sligo's one opportunity to kind of make an impact with the win behind them in this half.
Yeah, look, it's 6-3 up at half time. You probably wouldn't be delighted with that, but it's been that type of game that you just want to get to half time, steady the ship. But I'd be fully confident that we'd be able to, against the win, still put some good attacking plays together.
I think we're 3-all.
3-all, correct? Yeah.
Yeah. I was ready to say 6-3. I missed the score, but Sligo have had their opportunities to kick, but Josh Reeves has knocked too wide uncharacteristically. But he's got the ball in hand again. The question is, will he take this opportunity with a man up to go for touch? He is thinking about it.
The corner, it looks like it, yeah.
And I think that's a wise call. You may not have this many opportunities in the second half, attacking wise. Yeah. And when a man up, especially a man up in the centres, if they can secure this ball, Sligo at line out, and put it into the back line, there should be space there. Yeah. There has to be.
Josh was experienced. He'll hope he'll find those gaps. So have to win the set piece first to get that platform.
Critical, and that was a big issue the last time they came north of the border at Dungannon. They just could not secure line out ball. But we've got a centre in the line out here. Enda Gavin, and in fact they threw it short, and it was well won. It was a nifty little short line out for Sligo, so they're 5 metres out from the Harlequins line and closing in. It's all about, can they get this ball wide? It goes into the hands
Enda Gavin with the direct ball carry,
quick pick. Sligo again
on the ball with a big carry,
5 metres out now, still centre pitch. Going left, it goes to Reeves. Lovely little show go, 2-on-1. That's going to be a try for Sligo on the left hand side. Cogetto, beautiful hands. Reeves came in, he absolutely smoked. There's two men down in the midfield. Beautiful hands from Finn Young. He took that whack. It was 2-on-1.
Yeah, that was beautifully finished from the boys. It was Finn Young to Cal, and Cal gave a kind of a backdoor pass into Guy and put him into the corner. That was lovely hands from the guys. And the reward for going to the corner.
Well, I was just about to say, you wonder if Sligo will look back and go, we tried kicking an awful lot of penalties. Why didn't we try that earlier? It's easy to say because they're now a man up with a man in the bin, but it's still, as you say, quick rewards they got there.
Yeah, look, that could be massive. The way this game is going, it's very attritional. It's like a cup match. Yeah, Belfast Harlequins now with a man down injured. It's been a ferocious game. The carries, the hits.
They always use the word attritional, don't they?
I think I've used it a few times. I'm going to have to start looking for something different for the second half of this match.
Exactly, but it is that game. It's
it is
very,
what it is.
very hard. And it's hard to say. I think probably on the balance of play, the scoreline at the minute probably does reflect the game. But it's been very even. I think it's more. If you're a boxer, it would have been even on points. But I think the territory has counted in Sligo's favour. They've played the territory well.
Yeah, and I think we just had a few of those opportunities that we could have finished as well. With Cal made that break early doors, but Belfast Harlequins then without that 20 phases, I mean, they could have easily got a try then as well. So, it definitely is like a boxing match.
Josh Reeves has struck that superbly.
That's a beauty.
A left-footed kicker on the left side of the pitch, 5 metres from the touchline, and he raked it low across the front of the post.
That was arguably his hardest kick of the afternoon as well.
You're absolutely right. So 10 points to 3 here at Derrimore Park, and that first try of the game by Cogetto has really opened things up. But just to remind you, if you haven't been listening to all the game, Sligo have a stiff wind at their backs in the first half, so they needed to get some points on the board before half time. It's a beautiful sunshiny day here now. It's been very mixed as Harlequins send it really deep. I'm staring right into a low winter sunshine here. Sligo put the ball all the way over to the left hand side to get outside their 22. Harlequins eventually bring Sligo down just shy of their own 10-metre line. Some good running there, some pick and carries there from the winger Finn Young. And Sligo off again now through the forwards. Harlequins' defence has been very strong this game. They remember they're a man down, so Sligo will really probably try to get some more points on the board as Reeves puts it way deep down. It's a bobbly ball, and Harlequins struggle to deal with this, and in fact don't get time to do a clearance kick. They've gathered it on their own 22, 15 metres in from the left hand side, and Sligo, have they managed to get on the ball? No, not
very
quite.
Close. Donegal Byrne very close to forcing a turnover there, but Harlequins looking to try to attack out of their defence.
Yeah, and they've got their men back very, very well. A little miss ball there from Mark Atile, but goes through his hands, and Harlequins have gathered nicely again on their own 22. Some lovely hands by themselves. Ends up with James McConnell over on the right hand side of the pitch, still on their 22. You almost feel like they're in a holding pattern, but the holding pattern hasn't worked because they've just knocked that on and spilt it, and we may well get our first completed scrum of the afternoon yet.
Yeah, look, Belfast just chose to keep the ball there, didn't want to kick it away, and they knocked it on. This will be a good opportunity for Sligo now. We just seem to have just turned the screw a little bit there in the last couple of minutes, so if we're able to get another score before half time, we'd be delighted. You
do get that feeling that that yellow card, it just sort of feels like it's changed the game slightly, hasn't it?
A little bit,
there's a lifted intensity level from Sligo now. They're really just wanting to put that pressure on, and clever kicking again from Reeves, sending the ball deep into territory.
Like he found the space there between the two people in the backfield there, put it in between them perfectly. And they had to turn back to get the ball, which allowed the Sligo defensive line to get up and put that pressure on, which forced the turnover.
Hubert Gilvary there, the scrum half for Sligo. Yeah, good solid scrum. The ball is not coming back though. Eventually Gilvary gets it and sends it out. There's a little bit of mismoves. Reeves sends it out right there across the halfway line. Cogetto steps over one tackle. Halfway inside Harlequins 22. Sligo over on the right hand side. Harlequins have slowed that down a bit now, but Sligo still in possession through Byrne. Knocked backwards this time in the tackles from Harlequins.
Strong defending from Harlequins.
Very strong, but there's still 2-on-1s, and there's space out there. The pass didn't quite go to hand, and it's been knocked on, in fact, and into touch. As you say, strong defence there from Harlequins. Scramble defence, you'd almost call it, wouldn't you?
So that seems to be a Sligo ball on the far side for the line-out.
So
similar to where the line-out was that we launched the attack that we got the try from.
The interesting thing is, from a Sligo perspective, the two lineouts that have worked for them are the ones where they've just literally thrown it to a standing man at the front of the lineout.
Back to the old school.
Yeah, it's very difficult to defend against in some ways, but here we go. They were looking at a quick lineout.
Yeah,
Craig Trimble still on in second row, which is good to see.
Yeah, I didn't think he was going to last after that injury he had, but he's battled through. He's a warrior.
5-man line out. Dummy at the front. Actually lifts in the middle, take in the middle, so it's a good clean catch. Driving maul set up from Sligo. Harlequins disrupt it well, but the ball goes out and well kept in control by Sligo because that was bobbling all over the pitch. We're just closing in on the Harlequins 5-metre line, centre pitch. They're screaming for it out left from Sligo, but it goes straight to one of the forwards, right into a blue wall.
Took a pick and drive, found a little bit of a gap. Hubert at the back of the ball now. Belfast Harlequins slowing down. Yes, penalty advantage Sligo.
And this could go way out wide. Will it bounce? Will it be picked up? Sligo have an opportunity. Missed through the tackles. They're short of the line. They're going to be over.
Yes.
It's a second try on the right-hand side.
I think Christian Nielsen did really well. Hubert Gilvary just sprung a pass out to the wing there, skipping over the heads of 4 people. Christian Nielsen picked it up, offloaded it inside, I think, to Donncha Byrne.
It's right over the far side. It threatened not to be a try there. It was bobbling, bouncing, offloading, but they got there in the end.
Yeah, but that's really been real clinical from Sligo now with those 2 opportunities, and it's been such a swing, that yellow card.
So that brings the scoreline to Belfast Harlequins 3, Sligo 15. Not too long left to go in the half. And who are we even crediting that with?
I think it was Donncha Byrne.
We'll allow ourselves to be wrong on that. It was over the far corner, and it was a bit of a scramble, but he can take the.
It was either him or Matthew Early. They have very similar fade haircuts there, so I believe it was Donncha.
And Josh Reeves get the opportunity to go touchline to touchline here. He's way over on the right hand touchline now.
I just see Harlequins physio there making a gesture that there's going to be another substitution needed. There's another player going off.
Yeah,
a lot of players gone on one half of rugby.
Yeah, it really is. It's it'll certainly open up in this second half. So here we are. We're just waiting for this conversion. Josh Reeves taking his time there. Here we go. He really kept the head down this time, but it has gone wide, so it's his 3rd missed kick of the afternoon. If you're just joining us on Ocean FM, I'm Graham Dewhurst, and Ross O'Boyle's with me here at Derrimore Park in Belfast, commenting on this hugely entertaining Division 2B fixture. Belfast Harlequins 3, Sligo 15, 12 points in it between these two sides who sit 5th and 6th respectively in the table. A huge amount to play for, and 10 minutes ago you would have been a bit nervous, Ross, but now it just gives you a bit of breathing space with a stiff wind in the second half.
Yeah, but look, there's a massive wind in this game. You could easily find yourself on the receiving end of 2 tries very quickly in the second half, so the guys will know that's by no means are they home with that lead. And
Harlequins kick off, good catch by Sligo, just outside their 22 over on the right hand side. Ruck called.
Harlequins are back to the full complement now. I see their Fijian centres back on the pitch.
Big spiral kick by Reeves down the pitch. Just dropped by Harlequins. It didn't go forward though. So Harlequins still in possession, right in the middle of the pitch on their own 10-metre line. And they've got a penalty out of it as well. I actually think, and a quick tap and go there from Harlequins. The little scrum half, always keen and eager to go. Lee Steenson, the Drumore man. And away go Harlequins again, driving through the middle. They want to have their say before the half's out. Jack Bowl, Irish under-19 front row player, takes it up. Good play through the hands there from Harlequins. Out to the left-hand side, breaks one tackle out to Sligo's, up to Sligo's 22 now. Steenson gives it to his forwards. Lovely little outside the back door, and that's
very intelligent with Ross Hickey. A soccer-style chip up into the hands of the Sligo attacking player.
And that could easily have saved Sligo there. The ball went loose.
Fantastic football skills from Hickey.
And Josh Reeves clears again down to Harlequins' 10-metre line. This time the winger puts his foot on it first, and he goes on a bit of a dander, but Sligo's defence up very, very fast and bring the player down centre pitch on the halfway line. Harlequins in possession again, and the ball goes nowhere, and it's bobbling around all over the place.
Done. Jake Sexton makes
and that's miles forward from
well done.
Harlequins.
Jake Sexton forcing the turnover there, got up off the line, made the tackle.
Ross getting overexcited there, losing his. You can tell.
Keep my composure.
He's got to keep his composure. It's hard to do, though, isn't it? It is a very dramatic match.
Yeah.
And again, I thought Harlequins were just on the build there.
Yeah,
They threatened that so many times this game,
but just
haven't
what
they?
about that little chip kick from Hickey down there under pressure?
Yeah, I know. My immediate instinct was to think he was offside, but it had actually come off on an open play. So it was very clever to think so instinctively on the hoof.
Yeah,
wasn't
it was. Yeah, he's going to claim he meant it regardless. So.
When we watch that back in replay, he'll be looking elsewhere.
Could have very easily become a blooper if it didn't go to hand.
So here we go. Sligo with the ball. 15 metres in from the left-hand side, just inside Harlequins' half. And again, they'll be wanting just to try and finish this half off with even more points, because I keep harking on about the weather, but it will make a difference. It's a very solid scrum from Sligo. The ball comes out to Sligo hands, but they knock it on in the centre end. Gavin just can't quite gather. Harlequins have the ball and the knock-on advantage. Steenson, the number 9, sends it left. Harlequins centre pitch on the halfway line, and Sligo, they managed to get the ball, but we'll go back.
Sligo intercepted the ball, but it was a knock-on advantage. But yeah, a very solid scrum from Sligo.
So we're going to be a scrum centre pitch now to Harlequins, and we'll see what can happen. Both scrum halves, I have to say, both Gilvary for Sligo and Steenson for Harlequins have been lively, haven't they?
Yeah. This is Hubert's first match back from injuries. Hubert's in the Connacht Academy, and he's been playing a lot of games for us this year. And
he even got one senior squad appearance, I think, for Connacht earlier in the season.
He was on the bench earlier in the URC. Yeah, so look, he's really ambitious, very driven fella. He's very intense about his training. He's doing everything he can to do the extras.
He is giving ball on a plate to Reeves. You know, I think that's the thing that I'm noticing. Difficult when the wind's behind you not to throw forward passes, isn't it?
It is, yeah. He's been sticking to the roles of the 9 Huberts, and his service has been brilliant. And our joint captain Brendan Cunningham is on the bench. Brendan would have been playing 9 in most of the games. So it's a great dynamic for Brendan to come on in the second half. You know, he'll be making an impact when he comes on.
Scrum to Belfast Harlequins on the halfway line. Centre pitch. The ball comes out, another good solid scrum, although it's threatened not to be, and it goes right this time out into the open play. Lovely big rainbow pass there from Steenson, puts the ball out. Harlequins gather on Sligo's 10-metre line. Over on the right hand side of the pitch, big number 5 Shuttleworth carries well. Harlequins off and running again. Good gather again, good solid defence from Sligo, and threatened to be a knock on, but just off, holding on there in that tackle. And the question is, I suppose it's a question of time, but you would probably, from Harlequin's perspective, just drill this down into the corner now, wouldn't you?
Yeah, it's getting a bit heated there in the exchanges now. A few players are niggling at each other there, but it's the intensity.
It's good to see though, because
it's good to see a bit of zip in it, isn't it?
I just you want to see that. There's a passion there from both sides to actually make something happen. There's a lot on the line
for both teams here today. Arguably, Belfast Harlequins need this game to have, if they've any aspirations of getting into these playoff places, this is a must-win for them.
Yeah, and a decent kick. A decent kick puts Harlequins down, and really for only the second time in the game, down into Sligo's 22. And Neil Duke is Belfast Harlequins coach, as we mentioned earlier, and no more experienced man, ex-head coach for Ulster Rugby, and he'll have. I'm sure I've gained a lot of knowledge in this first half and ready to impart it to his team. But here we go, Harlequins. It's a 5-man line out. They go straight up in the middle, well gathered. We're on the right hand side, centre pitch, as Harlequins try to get a little bit of a drive on this 5-man. Sligo have turned it well, and they get their secondary in. Have they disrupted this? Have they got hands on the ball? I'm not too sure. Harlequins do look to be in good possession as the rest of the forwards come in. They start to drive. They keep on driving. And Sligo, I think, have turned that over.
I think, Matthew Early got hands on, turned
almost
it over.
Almost a miraculous turnover
Ross
there.
Hickey, go to sleep.
That was a
two offloads.
Big carry from Ross Hickey there. Sligo halfway inside their 22, and Reeves will just stick the boot down, and I might even catch this. Great kick from Ross Reeves.
Massive stuff.
Yeah, they did
defense.
very well right from the line out to turn the line out, rolling maul there.
No, it was great work in the line out. The guys kept engaged, fought through the middle, found the centre. Matthew Early getting through, ripping the ball.
Yeah.
And then Ross Hickey with just 2 big, massive carries there.
Yeah. They'll be disappointed, Harlequins, so it was a good opportunity, and they did get off to a good drive at the start, but just couldn't control it. So Harlequins have a line out over on the right-hand side, just inside Sligo's half, as we have another injury down.
Yeah, there was two big carries there from Ross Hickey. Now he's just down. Hopefully now this is just, he's looking for a breather more than anything else. But
just a reminder, you're listening on Ocean FM to Graham Dewhurst and Ross O'Boyle as we bring you coverage of this All-Ireland League Division 2B match between Belfast Harlequins and Sligo. Sligo have taken advantage of the wind and are leading 15-3. I keep saying we're closing in half-time. That's because it feels like it's been going on forever, but there has been quite a lot of injury.
We're hitting 50 minutes now.
Well, their batteries are going to be running out.
Oh, no.
I'm just talking about my own body battery here. My voice is going to go, but Harlequins line out. It's a 5-man. Straight up in the middle. Lovely take off the top. Straight down to scrum half. And out half to McKinney. McKinney passes it on to Kyle, who's a strong runner. It goes behind some forwards. Harlequins change direction and go right. Good catch there by Jazz Andres, who's the cousin of Coach John Andres for Harlequins. It was great jazz hands there, if I have to say. I had to use
you
that.
said you weren't going to do any more
Sorry,
puns.
I said I would, but I lied.
Is Jazz his real name or is that a nickname?
I think it's his real name. Yeah, it's his real name. Harlequins off and running, centre pitch. McKinley spots a little bit of a gap, but it's knocked on by Kyle in the centre, and that was again threatening from Harlequins in half time. And definitely, I probably think the Sligo men will be more relieved at this point in the game, won't they? Yeah,
well, look, we had that good period then during the yellow cards, and we were very clinical with our opportunities. Look, as we said, there's a big wind out there. If we start sitting back and defending that, it's not going to get the outcome we want.
Absolutely. So there's half-time here at Derrimore Park in Belfast. That's Harlequins 3, Sligo 15, and you can join us in the second half. Welcome back to Derrimore Park in Belfast. This is Ocean FM's live coverage of this All-Ireland League Division 2B match between Belfast Harlequins and Sligo. This is myself, Graham Dewhurst, and Ross O'Boyle. Ross, a lot to look forward to in the second half.
Yeah, well, if it was anything like the first half now, I think we're going to be pretty tired come the final whistle.
So it's Belfast Harlequins 3, Sligo 15, but Belfast Harlequins have a very big breeze at their backs in this second half, and a lot could come of this, but Harlequins have kicked off, Sligo have gathered in their own 22. Centre pitch now for Sligo. Good carry by the pack, big Ross Hickey, who did a good job in the first half, and Josh Reeves was prevalent with the boot, and he's kicked it up the pitch to the halfway line, and Harlequins have gathered, and in fact they've gone for a little bit of a dandering run as the fullback Paul Kerr finally brought down on the Sligo 10-metre line centre pitch. A little bit of a chick kick from McKinney, well gathered by Reeves, and he calls the mark, and immediately you can tell Harlequins' tactic is going to be territory, isn't it?
Yeah, well marshalled there by Josh Reeves, who was in a good position there in the backfield. He's called the mark, but obviously the shoe on the other foot now, and Sligo are going to have to carry a lot of ball into that wind.
So we've had an epic first half, as I say, 15 points to 3, one try from Coggetto, but they did threaten more. Both sides have gone through heavy portions of carries and have looked really, really good, so we're expecting a very exciting second half. Harlequins line out then, halfway between Sligo's 10-metre and 22 over on the left-hand side. They've gone again with the 5-man line out. It served them well in the first half.
Yeah.
But it's again...
Sligo have two pods here when they compete against this.
And they've gone up in the middle, and they have won at Harlequins off the top ball. It's gone down to McKinney, the big Fijian who got yellow carded in the first half for a purposeful knock-on. Gathers and takes it into the centre. It goes off to the pack. Sligo did very well to defend that. Still halfway between Sligo's 10 and 22. Harlequins send the ball over right through Kyle over to the far right-hand side. Lee Steenson, the scrum half, changes direction and goes left. Again, Harlequins, as they did in the first half, threatening to go through the faces. McKinney, not a clean pass, and it's knocked on there by Harlequins. In fact, it's then knocked on, gathered up by Harlequins, and it's a purposeful penalty there, isn't it?
Yeah, so it was just an awkward one. It bounced off a Harlequins player and it hit into a Harlequins player who was offside, which gave Sligo the penalty there. But good attacking endeavour from Harlequins and equally good defence from Sligo there as well.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's the balance of the sides. I think both sides have shown at stages in this game. Brilliant attack
Yeah.
and brilliant defence.
Yeah, look, the Belfast 10 McKinney, like, he's a good operator as well, and he's really getting his back line going as well. So it's two good experienced 10s going toe to toe with each other.
Yeah, you've got the player coach in Josh Reeves for Sligo, and you've got the captain James McKinney, the ex-Ulster representative player for Harlequins. So yeah, it's great to see, and it'll be McKinney's opportunity this half to show what he's like with the boot.
It'll be his turn to show what he can do now with the wind behind his back. Yeah.
So Sligo have kicked that penalty up into Harlequin territory. They're on the Harlequins 10-metre line over on the left-hand side. And again, short line out, the favour of the day, the 5-man. They've set a pod up at the front, Sligo, and Harlequins have set up defensively likewise. There's a lot of moving about, and Sligo get it in the middle of the line out, bring it down, quick pop ball, Sligo on the run, end of Gavin. He's been quite quiet in that first half, but he gathers well to carry. Sligo closing in on Harlequins 22, centre pitch, change of direction from Sligo going left round the bootlaces, but a good pick-up. Gavin again in the hands, shuffles it out a little bit too hastily there out the back line. And Harlequins have, I think, turned that over in the midfield, and in fact more than that, they've got a penalty out of that. It just bit scrappy there from Sligo. There just was a little bit of indecision, wasn't there?
Yeah, just there's a couple of fellas just offloading there when they really should have just took the ball up the sleeve and gone into contact and set up a ruck.
And you just cannot afford against this Harlequins defence to look a bit sloppy, because they're going in, I think, 2-man tackles.
Yeah, and that's a fantastic kick to touch there from McKinney there, making massive metres, like, so that wind is picking up.
I suppose I should point out again, if you're just joining us, it's a 15-3 here to Sligo at Derrimore Park. And there's been a raft of injuries in that first half. We saw Pedro Bangalo going off to hospital with quite a nasty gash to his leg. And we've seen quite a few other changes as well. And even Craig Trimble going down the other second
still
row.
Battling, so he is.
Still battling,
big Donegal
still there.
town man.
So here we go, Harlequins line out over on the left-hand side on the slide, just outside the Sligo 22. It's a 6-man line out this time, and they go to the tail. It's over the top, not straight, and in some ways I'm quite surprised.
Very ambitious with that weather.
Yeah, the first one that's not straight.
Yeah.
But he is a very talented hooker for Harlequins, Joel Dundas. He's Ulster schools, and by all accounts has the ability levels to go far.
He's won an Ulster Schools Cup, I believe. He's been very impressive. And he's quite a slight. He's not too heavily built. You kind of imagine he's quite an athletic. Technically a very sound player, yeah. So Craig Trimble has gone into the front row.
Wow, multi-talented, this boy. So, here we go. So a bit of a change in the pack, and Sligo Harlequins are putting them under a little bit of pressure. The ball pops out, and away goes Sligo on their own 22, centre pitch going left, full of running, great running there. Goddard up to Harlequin, or up to their own 10-metre line, great line, and they're right across the half. Little sidestep, beautiful from Gilvary, sending it deep, puts the ball on the boot, and Imi, the Fijian, has gathered that and is going on a run, and he's right across the face of his own goal. He's about 1 metre away from his own line. He's eventually brought down.
The pressure on here.
Sligo, and McKinney, will he clear with the right foot? He does. Is it going to go into touch? It is. And that was all a bit heart and mouth there if you're a Harlequins fan.
So Donncha Byrne took a hard line, found a bit of space, gave an offload inside to Hubert Gilvary, who on his first did a bit of a goosey step, got himself into space and kicked into the corner. It was a lovely play by Sligo, showing that from a real static position that we can explode into attack like that.
Harlequins did very well to scramble back, really, because I thought the Sligo players were up so fast that they really threatened to just overwhelm the Harlequins defence there.
They did really well to get out of there. So Sligo now with the into the wind, if they can get any points, it's nearly worth double in this half.
Line out to Sligo on the left-hand side, on just outside the Harlequins 22. Harlequins don't jump this time in the line out. They opt to just defend, and they have actually gone right the way through the middle and have disrupted that. Sligo still have the ball. The almost tackled Matthew Early,
the captain,
who
former
also
Leitrim under 20 goalkeeper.
Yeah, he's multi-talented, that boy. Sligo just outside Harlequins 22. Little show and go there. Kuba, the replacement runs it. They've changed direction, Sligo. Centre pitch now, just outside Harlequins 22. Harlequins that try to hold that up, but the ball goes to ground. They're going left. Josh Reeves controlling things nicely. Going through the face of Sligo. That's what they need to do against this wind. Keep possession. Good defence there by Harlequins. Every Harlequins tackle seems to be a knockback one. There's huge ferocity as Cogetto gets the ball 15 metres in from the right-hand touchline. Harlequins keeping them outside their own 22. Change of direction. A little bit high there, but well gathered in by Byrne, who's worked so hard this afternoon, hasn't he?
Yeah, he is. He's all over the park. He's all action. He just loves to carry the ball and work.
Ross Hickey to Reeves. Reeves gives a lovely inside pass there to Finn Young. Great line of running, and again there's a little bit of space.
Here,
surely no! He's sidestepping. He's all over. He's not going to go all the way. Just held up. James O'Hare, that was phenomenal. He sidestepped around about 3 players. There's about a 6-man overlap over on the right, and here comes the ball. Will it go all the way to the right? And it's a little walk in from Enda Gavin.
Yes.
Wow. That was absolutely incredible from Sligo.
Yeah, that was great. James O'Hare with the dummy. He absolutely sold it, and then sidestepped the fullback. I thought he was going to go all the way.
I was sure he did. I think it was almost very unselfish not to overstretch and try and go for it.
You'd be very tempted to go for it, but he did the right thing. He recycled the ball. Hubert threw out a massive pass there to Cal, and Cal has still a little bit of work to do. He had to settle himself. He had to draw that last defender in and give the simple pass to Enda, who did a big swan dive there for the Hollywood dive. That's a big. That's big, as I just said there, into the wind like that. That's nearly worth double the points. But we can't sit in this.
That was almost Chris Ashton-esque.
Oh yeah, the ash splash.
The ash splash. It wasn't quite as aesthetic, but
I hope he hasn't injured himself either now because he's limping.
Oh dear.
Yeah, but Craig Trimble's still out there battling, and Craig is actually playing tight head there. I noticed, and that's a position that he hasn't actually had much exposure in, so he's doing a massive job there today.
Yeah, Sligo are really having to plumb the depths of positionally.
Like, as I said, we had 8 players out going into this game. You know, add those extra couple injuries to Rob and Pedro, like 2 of our key men of our pack. And to keep this performance going is just real testament to the squad depth and the quality of the lads that are able to come on. I see Sean Wynne is just taking the tracksuit off. He's coming onto the pitch, so let's see who he's replacing.
So conversion here, we're waiting on Reeves, 10 metres out from the right-hand touchline. He's really had to hit this super hard, and he's done a great drop to draw that in. He's had a difficult day, I would say, with the boot, but kicks like that just show the skill level, keeping it low, into the wind, and drilled that right over the crossbar. So it's 22-3 Sligo lead against Belfast Harlequins here at Derrimore Park. Early in the second half, but that, to be fair, I think was a decisive blow, and Harlequins are really going to have to dig deep if they're going to try and get something from this game. A reminder that Sligo at the minute are sitting in 5th in this league, and Harlequins are in 6th, with the 2 teams in 3rd and 4th, Blackrock and Wanderers, playing today as well. So the winner of this game will definitely leapfrog somebody into the playoff spots. Yeah,
absolutely. And I've just been scolded on WhatsApp. I've been informed that it was actually Matthew Early who scored the first try in the first half. So apologies to our Leitrim listeners. Matthew, it was a super try.
Good catch by Harlequins. Harlequins on their own 10-metre line. A big up and under. A huge chase. And who catches it? But Josh Reeves. He's everywhere. His positional awareness. And in fact, he dances through. Gives a little offload. Can't quite get it. Harlequins managed to pull it down just inside their own half. 20 metres in from the right-hand side. Sligo going left. Josh Reeves just makes it look so easy. He just arrives and appears and dances through a back line. Harlequins' defence solid this time, and again those knockback tackles, so solid in defence, Harlequins. But Sligo have found a way through this time. Josh Reeves gets charged down. It's going to be a chase back. A ball goes across the 22, inside the 22. It's still loose. Sligo dive on it. Have Harlequins got it? They have, through a penalty. Well, just as we say about Josh Reeves' kicking, his patience, he just lingers too long on the kick and gets charged down.
Yeah, the Belfast player did well to make up a lot of ground there. I see James O'Hare's in the wars now as well with the physio on the pitch. So Finn Young did well to get back there. He got the ball, but just unfortunately the numbers game didn't. The Belfast got more men to the ball and won the turnover. So they're going to kick into the corner now. Big test of Sligo.
I hope you're enjoying this live coverage on Ocean FM. It's been a pleasure to be here at Derrimore Park. It's frenetic stuff, and both sides have added so much, both in attack and defence. And the scoreline, in many ways, is although it looks one-sided, both sides have added so much to this game, and we're in the early stages of the second half. 22-3 Sligo lead against Belfast Harlequins, and Harlequins on the attack with a line out on Sligo's 5-metre line. But we're going to take a wee bit of a breather. Again, I keep having to say that. It's like we've got a man down in the middle. I think it's one of the Harlequins' second rows.
Yeah, just down getting the treatment. The physios have been very busy today, and probably will be putting the hands up for the man of the match awards afterwards as well.
You're absolutely right. Sean Shuttleworth thankfully gives his shoulders a shrug, and
he's walking gingerly back to the line out with a similar strut to Craig Trimble earlier.
I was about to say, yeah, that been there, done that type of strut. It has been frenetic, though, hasn't it?
Yeah.
The pace of the game.
Oh, it has. It hasn't let off at all.
The impacts that the bodies are taking, they'll feel that tomorrow.
If Harlequins can get a score here now, it'll give them a lot of confidence. This game isn't by any means over.
No. Here we go. Line out in the 5-metre line, over on the right-hand side. Again, this time Sligo, who don't up to jump, but they try to just take Harlequins on the defence. Harlequins this time get it very well set up. Look at the leg drive here. Look at the leg drive pulling through. And have they got across the line? Yes, they have. And that was very well deserved. That was a very well set up line out drive, wasn't it, Ross?
It was nice and low. There was a very solid setup there. You could tell Sligo were in a bit of trouble early. So this will be a real test to see how we react to this. And Harlequins, that's the momentum they need. Wind behind their back. As I said, this game it's only starting now.
Yeah, exactly. And it sort of came from that charge down.
Yeah, correct.
And a little tiny mistake.
Yeah, fine margins.
And it was fine margins because really Sligo's impetus for the last 20 minutes either side of the half.
They've really been in control, but it just goes to show you how things can turn quickly. So there's an opportunity now. I think there's we've been a little bit frantic and just trying to push that last pass a little bit, when we can just take it down and go again. So Josh with an opportunity now to talk to the lads and Matty early and calm them down, and let's get back down that pitch again.
Oh, it's starting to get a wee bit of a bite to the wind as well, isn't it, as the afternoon goes on? It's cool. It's a lot colder up here in Derrimore Park in Belfast now. And will they get the conversion kick? The flags stay down and the scoreline remains Sligo 22, Belfast Harlequins 8. But the heads have lifted from the men in the blue shirts. They realise that there's very definitely a game to be won here. And with the wind at the backs, as Ross has alluded to, that things could yet change. It's a bit slow. We're waiting for a ball. That would be always helps proceedings.
Just while we've a lull time now, I might mention we've a charity fundraiser coming up in Ballina on the 26th for Kieran Cawley. It's a fundraiser for him. He's a former Ballina player, so we're having an over 35s Ballina versus a Connacht Harlequin select. So that'll be a good opportunity to see some former heroes put the shorts and socks back on and have a go and raising money for a very important cause.
Fantastic. Remember a few good battles against Ballina back in the day.
Oh, we won our kick-off here.
Sligo send the ball out wide. Lovely passing and big hits again from Harlequins defence. Harlequins on their own 10-metre line. Centre pitch as the ball goes way out to the left-hand side. 2-on-1 tackling seems to be the order of the day for Harlequins. Sligo, the ball bobbles about and Harlequins have got their hands on it. 15 metres in from the right-hand side. And it's this time the scrum half who does a little dink kick over the top. It bobbles, it bounces, and it goes out for a line out on Sligo's 22. That's the danger. One turnover and you lose about 30 metres.
The ball didn't go to hand there and it bobbled behind, and Harlequins reacted quick and won the ball, but just sloppy, just two sloppy moments from Sligo and putting themselves under unnecessary pressure.
It's hugely exciting, this game.
Very vocal crowd around the grounds. You can feel every hit, every decision.
Yeah, absolutely. It's wonderful. I hope you're enjoying this. It's fantastic to see a great game of All-Ireland League rugby. The line out, great take from Harlequins, well up by Sligo as well. Sligo get a little bit of a nudge on though in the driving maul. Harlequins reset and off they go. They've managed to get a secondary shove, and Harlequins across the Sligo 22. They're keeping this in the pack. They're trying to motor. They're trying to move. And they've got a penalty advantage. Harlequins, the ball goes out, the free ball. Centre pitch about 10 metres away from the Sligo line. The ball goes out left. McKinney
Sligo scrambling
puts it out
back
to
here.
Paul Kerr. Paul Kerr sets it out wide. Emmy, the big Fijian, hands off one, hands off two, in the corner. There's the try for Harlequins. And what a try it was. Forwards, backs. It all started with the line out. And I can hear Dan Toohey in the gantry above is very happy with that line out.
Yeah, that was a tough one. The big Fijian man down the corner did really well to finish that try, it has to be said. So that's it. Game on. Belfast Harlequins right back in this.
Very much so. 13 points to 22. Big Emmy with the try for Harlequins.
So this is it now. This will
So
be a real
difficult.
test of our depth now, our test of our mettle and the energy that we've left in this game.
It's just about...
But Harlequins getting a lot of confidence now in that line out. And it's their go-to launch, their weapon now, really.
Yeah. They really did push two on that. And Sligo did actually very well initially.
Yeah,
they got a good initial
they did, and
nudge. But
Harlequins peeled off and got it going again.
what they did the last time, I think Sligo down in their 22s, they got the rotation, not just the shove, didn't they? They just weren't able to get that time. So anyway, again, we take a deep breath. Harlequins, I keep saying that, is frenetic stuff. It's fantastic to watch. So here we go. Harlequins from the far left-hand touchline. Has he drifted this far enough? That is a fabulous kick from Paul Kerr. And that brings the scoreline to 15-22. Suddenly there's only a converted try in it. And look, the very nature of playing into a stiff breeze. Will that 22 points be enough that Sligo got to carry them through the rest of this match?
No, if Sligo starts sitting back trying to defend, that 7 points, it's game over. We need to go, we need to get points on the board. We can't sit back. It's just very unfortunate now that just two lapses in concentration resulted in those two tries, punished heavily.
I think that you're exactly right. But both sides, that's what separates these two teams. Tiny little details, isn't it? Sligo kick it off just outside, gathered in just outside the Harlequins 22. Centre pitch, it goes back to McKinney. McKinney sticks his right boot to it. It's a big deep one. Josh Reeves, there's the battle of the tens. We're loving it today. Josh Reeves, a little dink over the top across the halfway line. Will he gather it himself? Yes, he does. Fantastic from Reeves. Just short of the Harlequins 22, 15 metres in for the left hand side, and Harlequins turn it over. Is it outstanding rugby from both sides?
It goes wide. They're down in numbers.
McKinney sends it right. It's 3-on-2 over on the left. They do give it. Here he goes, McKinney. McKinney holds on to it well. It's Big Emy. There's a big right hand. This time he goes low. Gathers it in. Just across the halfway line. Over on the left hand side. Just below our gantry position. Harlequins going through the face as well. McKinney controlling this in the second half. There's a little bit of a gap. One missed tackle. Well brought down. Have Sligo managed to turn that over?
Sligo
yes, they have.
They're going again.
Knock on advantage. Sligo on the halfway line. This time through Ross Hickey. Centre pitch. Slowed down a little bit. Will it go back there? He's looking for Reeves. Reeves with such that little beautiful chip chase and carry. Outstanding to watch. We're on the left hand side of the pitch now. Halfway line. Sligo still in possession. Ball goes out to Enda Gavin, the try scorer.
Now the space out wide if Sligo can get it.
They've turned and they've gone down the blind side. There wasn't much
Delvary.
space there. And has he got turned over? Is he able to hold this in?
Pistol Pete has kept the whistle not blown. Sligo just getting a bit sloppy here, even though they are in possession.
It's all gone very, very tight, even though the Sligo backline are spread quite deep.
And Kuba with a carry there now. Now the Sligo backline looks to be in a good position. Will they attack?
Just the scrum have a little bit slow to get in there.
Yeah.
Gilvary, Reeves finally has to boot the ball, but it's going straight up in the air, and that wind's just held it vertical. And in fact, he catches it again. The man could do no wrong. across the Harlequins 10-metre line, 15 metres in from the left-hand line.
Donegal Byrne with a lovely carry, just nearly gets away, just caught.
Pick and goes round the corner, a little bit high from Harlequins, but no penalty advantage there. The ball goes left, little show and go. Harlequins defense staying strong. On the Harlequins 22, 10 metres in from the left. The ball going right. Kuba again, carrying strong in this second half.
Sligo now need to just tighten up in the rucks, because every single time they're leaving themselves open to...
They picked him went into one of his own men, and that's just again what you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, just a bit sloppy, but I think what actually happened there was that... he was in the ruck and he picked it from the ball. He picked it from the back of the ruck
yes,
and went
sweet.
forward. So that's that rule that you have to be behind the ball before you pick it. So I think that's what we're just trying to be a bit too clever. But yeah, we definitely, there's tired bodies there, and you can tell by the way that we're not getting back into shape and formation. It's the nature of this game has just left guys a bit tired now.
For all that, the skill levels of both sides is fantastic. I mean, we saw twice there Josh Reeves with little dinks and caught his own one. Beautiful to watch. And then Harlequins with McKinney controlling that so well, sending it out wide.
They're just, both teams are throwing everything at each other. It's just, they're tired. It's like two drunks fighting each other.
Except more aesthetically pleasing, it has to be said. So here we go. We've got a penalty. We're just waiting there for a little minor injury. Thankfully, the first half injury toll hasn't quite carried through to the second half. I think there was a substitution for Harlequins there. Maybe a couple of changes on the sidelines there. It's hard to see at the minute, just with the sun. Winter sun is just low over the horizon, and it's...
The rain has stayed away, though.
Yeah, thankfully for that. It's a beautiful, beautiful, sunny yet windy winter's day here at Derrimore Park in Belfast for this All-Ireland League Division 2B fixture. Belfast Harlequins 15, Sligo 22, tantamount to being on a knife edge here. Harlequins with a strong winds at their back with about half the second half still to go. A line out for Harlequins over on the halfway line over on the right hand side, and Sligo do make a little bit of a mess of that. They've got their hands on it. They've turned it over. Can they make this little advantage play in their favour? It's bouncing, it's bobbling, they're going backwards, Sligo.
Well done by Sean Wynn, tidies it up. And
he needed to do that,
bit of
didn't he?
Yeah.
He needed to just go forward. And Harlequins, that's almost offside. Yeah, the referee's given penalty advantage. That's harsh. I think that's one of those awkward ones there. There's a
couple of bodies lying everywhere, but they just they're in the way. So Sligo with the penalty, and now I think it's just an opportunity just to really get everyone in together and just get back into our shape and formation.
Crucial line out. Well, let's have a wee moment for that. Harlequins, I have to say, probably have had the better of the line outs through the game, but that was a vital steal, wasn't it?
It was a vital steal with Sligo. I think it was Christian Nielsen getting up and forcing a knock on from Belfast Harlequins, really taking a lot of pressure off Sligo, that line out steal, because Harlequins are certainly in the ascendancy there.
Yeah, and you would almost have thought if they had caught that, they would have driven it, and then McKinney would have stuck that down. And
James O'Hare is limping off now. I think Craig Trimble has had a breather and he's going to come back on again.
He had about a 2-minute breather. That's all you're allowed in this game.
I think they just put the oxygen mask on him there for a couple of minutes. But here we go, a lovely attacking opportunity for Sligo now inside the Harlequins 22. I really do think that we need another score.
But it's going to come down.
And also it will be the bonus point score as well, I believe, won't it?
Yeah, that's right. Three tries for Sligo, only 2 for Harlequins, but the game still quite tight here, 15-22.
Yeah, so here we go. Like this is a difficult one now with such a lot of change in personnel to make sure that your line-out calls still work. And
Sligo go up.
Win the line out.
Yep, take in the middle. Harlequins get a solid drive on, but Sligo splinter off and get a secondary drive, which is brought to ground about 10 metres shy of the Harlequins line.
Harlequins have turned it over and won a penalty. Now that's very sloppy.
And that was a huge opportunity for Sligo as well, wasn't it? They got that drive, and they even got a secondary drive. I think it almost took them by surprise.
Yeah, basically they went down to ground, and Harlequins got over it and turned it over very quickly. But that's that would have been a massive opportunity for Sligo to launch a great attack. So.
Yeah. But will you see this? Let's see. Oh, it's only a scrum.
It must have been a knock on. Sligo must have knocked it on there. So it's a scrum. I thought the referee had his arm up for a penalty.
He did. It was definitely more of an acute angle than it was on the horizontal. But no matter. Harlequins in possession. The scrums have actually been a very even battle as well. It's from a forwards perspective, it's been very enjoyable.
There's the one penalty, the very first scrum Sligo won, but since then there's been no movement.
No, not at all. You've got some giants in there in both packs. And I kind of look on at Sligo's pack and see everyone out of position.
Yeah, but I just think actually it's got a feeling there that both forwards are doing so much work around the pitch that they're looking at each other in the scrums and they're saying, "All right, lads, come on,
take it easy.
Let's just go square here, and then we'll resume battle once we get onto the out of this scrum." So
yeah, and it is more fun. It's such a lovely day for rugby here, and both sides have come to play. Harlequins put the ball in, and again that sedentary scrum, but it's just popped up in the middle, I think, and we're going to rerun the fun. So you're listening to Ocean FM's coverage of this All-Ireland League Division 2B game here at Darrowmore Park. It's Sligo 22, Belfast Harlequins 15, 7 points separating the sides halfway through the second half. I'm Graham Dewhurst and beside me is Ross O'Boyle. Should I say co-host of the Sligo Way pod? We'll have to get that in, don't we?
Yeah, you have to get it. It's on all available places where you listen to your podcasts. Just a bit of fun and weekly wrap-ups of all the sports in the lovely county of Sligo.
You'll have plenty to talk about on it this week after this
certainly
game.
will, yeah.
So here we go. Scrum again, just about 10 metres away from Harlequins' goal line. It's a solid scrum actually from Harlequins this time, and for Harlequins decided let's not go easy this time.
Yeah, they went for it that time. Look, I just think Sligo have so many men playing out of position in that forward pack at the moment that they've done well to last this long. But look, that's I don't think that's a sign of things to come. I think Sligo can fix that. But again, I really do think Sligo need to get another score here.
And bonus points again in this.
Massive,
I mean,
massive.
it's crucial. I mean, 15-22. I mean, if you get one more score, it's a bonus point. But if Harlequins get another score, we're into there's still so much to play for in this game. Harlequins probably disappointed enough for that clearance kick. He's just made it halfway between Harlequins' own 22 and 10 metre line. Over on the right hand side, they go to the tail, and it's right over the tail.
That's the second time they've done that and lost it.
Sligo in possession. Reeves gives it out the back line to Gavin, and it's a knock on in that middle. But the referee, Reeves just looks up to the sky in despair because there was an opportunity maybe to go wide, but just the pass wasn't great, was it?
Just the pass wasn't great, and Carl had to catch at it there, but just look up. It's just the guys are just showing a bit of nerves there. We could really do with a spell of possession with the ball and just play our way back into it. So here's another scrum now. It'll be interesting to see how we go here.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be, you kind of almost think as well, the last 15-20 minutes of this game, the energy levels went in the first 60.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of tired bodies.
That turn is off, isn't it? Right there.
Here we go. Scrum time to Harlequins. Apology, I hope you can. We went off air there for a second. The wind playing havoc with the equipment. This time it's a solid scrum from Harlequins. The ball sits in the second row and they go for that secondary shove and they're going for another penalty and they get it. And the scrum half's away. He's taking a quick pick. But the referee was unsighted there, I think.
Yeah, I think if the referee had seen that earlier, he would have let it go. So Sligo under pressure now.
They'll be definitely appointed. Malcolm Corrie for Belfast Harlequins there tapped and went. But it was such was the force of the Harlequins scrum that they drove right almost into the referee. A huge scrum from Harlequins. McKinney from his own 10 metre line will put this down, and again he's playing it safe, playing it cautious with the boot, but Harlequins slowly but surely back into Sligo territory, halfway between Sligo's 10 and 22. Over on the left hand side it's Harlequins line out. It's 5-man line out for Harlequins. They've stuck with this the whole afternoon. The 5-man line out.
Sligo spoiled the last couple. Let's see if they can get up here and get a hand to this.
Yeah, they will not go deep. They'll not go deep this time. They are going deep. 3 from 3. They finally get it. It's a good off the top ball. McKinney has to juggle, but he gets it. Great line of running from Kyle. That's his Ulster experience coming into play. Great line. Harlequins on Sligo's 22, right over on the far right-hand side. Harlequins with their bit between their teeth now. Sligo, great defence there. Phenomenal rip tackle.
Unlucky.
Just didn't quite come to hand. Great play for the defence. And there is space out wide if Harlequins can move it. McKityle steps inside. Dumped 15 metres away from the left-hand side as they change direction. Good line of running there from Joel Dundas, the hooker from Harlequins. Harlequins going right. McKinney sends it along the back line. Oh, was that forward? A little bit of off-road. It's 2. It's the big Fijian. Is he going to go down the left-hand side? Pouring those legs. Just 1 metre shy of the Sligo line. Finally brought down over on the right-hand side. It's with the Harlequins pack now. They're pressing hard. Sligo's defence has to stay strong as Harlequins pound towards the line. Are they over? The crowd cheer, but I think it's still held up. We're going again. Ball! Harlequins, it's all slowed down, right on the money, and it's going to be a penalty to Harlequins. I'm not too sure what that was for there. The referee really took a long time, nothing really seemed to be happening, whether it was holding on, was it?
Oh, what's going on here?
Down. I'm not really too sure what's going on. The play is quite far away from us here in the commentary position. Myself, I don't think Ross,
No, I didn't know what happened there. He took his time, but he's given a yellow card. It looks like now to.
Well, if it was for lying on top of the ball or trying to slow it down, then it's a professional foul. But
so Hugo Clavaris for getting the yellow card there.
Very difficult. Well, even the Harlequins players are tapping them on the head in a way passes it to say we don't really know what that was for either. So like only the referee knows. But that was. This is crucial period of the game.
Oh, here's James O'Hare coming back on now, I see.
And what a time for O'Hare to come on. This is almost like a rule reversal of what happened in the first half.
Absolutely, yeah.
Harlequins went down to 14 men and Sligo just steamrolled Harlequins for the next 10-15 minutes.
Yeah.
And Harlequins now a man up. They have a scrum. Are they going for a scrum from the penalty? And after the last two scrums, that's probably the right call, isn't it?
Yeah, so James O'Hare's back on the front row, so that'll add a bit of stability. I think I can see Matthew Early's gone back to Loosehead where he started the game.
So it's probably a bit more solid a platform for Sligo,
yeah.
I think.
But I'd still say Harlequins advantage in attack here, yeah.
So this is huge moment in this game. Belfast Harlequins 15, Sligo 22. Just about 15-20 minutes left in this game as Harlequins put the ball in. It's solid scrum, but Harlequins have tried again for that second shove and they've got another penalty and they've tapped and gone short of the line. Were they 10 metres? The referee's given another penalty advantage. They weren't 10, the Sligo defence. Harlequins pushing hard on the line. Just to the right hand side of the uprights. Pick and going. There's a big cry from the side as if Harlequins have gone over. Sligo have kept them short. Out with the forwards again. Pounding the Sligo line. Sligo, can they stay strong here? Or will Harlequins make it across? There's space out left if they can move it. They stay with the pack and they're finally over the line. This is frenetic stuff here. Harlequins get their third score of the afternoon right under the sticks to make the score. Harlequins 20, Sligo 22.
Imagine this is a gimme kicks, a tight game.
Tell you what, I'm feeling the nerves here. It's just one of these games that can swing either way.
Just excellent.
So here we go, waste no time in knocking that over, and would you believe it, we have a tied game here at Derrimore Park. Belfast Harlequins 22, Sligo 22, and from 22 3 points ahead, the scoreline has gone 22 all, and that a reflection as much of the weather as anything else. It's just that was the way the game was always going to go, wasn't it?
It was. It was going to be like that. That wind is massive. It was going to be a game of two halves. We couldn't rest on that, but we need to attack this game now.
So here we go, Sligo.
Another injury over here on the far side for Harlequins. I can see a man down.
Yep, the referee's over. So Sligo think the game's going. Sligo are getting ready to kick off, but there's actually no referee. The referee was busy at a. And I suppose that's good. It sort of shows the focus of Sligo. They just want to get back going again, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I think when there's the injury here over in that. No, we're up again and we're away.
It's going to be this game. It's going to go down to the last minute, don't you?
Yeah. And I'll be honest. I'm not. We don't have a way of keeping really a track of the time here.
We don't.
I can't.
Delays in the first half.
You're just going to have to stick with us in this. All of a sudden, we'll say that's it, and. So Sligo, this is kick. Has it gone 10 metres? It doesn't matter anyway because Harlequins have gathered it 15 metres in from the left-hand side, closing in and halfway. McKinney sticks that right boot to it and is going to put the pressure way back on Sligo again. Josh Reeves runs back, but you couldn't have asked for a nicer kick. That's a 50-22 and Harlequins are going to have a line out 5 metres out from Sligo's line.
That's the best kick of the game there. McKinney just absolutely found open territory there with Sligo with a man down there, a man less in the backfield. And so there is space there. McKinney using all of his experience to find it.
And this new rule has just this 50-22 rule. But keep trolling.
I like it. I like it.
Here. It is definitely.
Don't like it now.
I know. But it definitely gives something for the kickers to aim for. But Harlequins right back down, pressuring Sligo's line. This is probably the most important line out of the game so far, and we've had a lot of important lineouts.
Yeah, big time. So are Sligo going to contest this, or are they going to go statues and look to defend it?
So here we go. Dundas throws
Sligo
it to the front pod. I think Sligo very wisely have just opted to try and take Harlequins on at the pack. Harlequins start the drive. Sligo equal to it. It's sort of going backwards and forwards. It's going down the blind side. Are they going to get across the line? Dundas did a little break down the blind side, got his arm over the try line, and in a matter of moments this game has changed.
That's it, it's the yellow cards, tale of two yellow cards.
Hasn't it just? It just shows how vital those little things are. And all of a sudden, that's the bonus point try for Harlequins. Just as we were talking actually earlier, could only have been maybe about 10 minutes ago, we were talking about bonus point tries for Sligo. And we've had a bonus point try for Harlequins. 27-22 to Harlequins, with Dundas getting across the line. I've forgotten. I'm writing down the tries, but I've no idea what the time is.
It's hard to believe it was 22-3 at one stage, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it just seems like moments ago it was 22-3.
And then two mistakes, and there we are. But look, there's still time to go. Sligo, you'd back them to be able to pull a try out of somewhere, but this is a massive kick now.
And this is where you need your player coach, Josh Reeves. This is where you need your Matthew Early, your captain, just coming in, just saying to the guys, look, it's about building patience. Build the phases. And Sligo have gone through the phases on a number of occasions to get tries, haven't they?
Yeah,
they
absolutely.
have reached this Harlequins back line. The opportunities are there.
But look, as I said, it's been a long block. We've a lot of injuries. You know, where we really, really need to just pull this out of the bag, and it'll be fantastic for us.
McKinney has missed the conversion.
That kick, so 5-point game.
5-point game, which is huge in and of itself, because we'll remind you again, we're at Derrimore Park in Belfast, this Division 2B match. If you've been listening to it from the start, you've, I'm sure, been glued to your radio sets or whatever you're listening to. Very exciting game here in Belfast. Harlequins 27, Sligo 22. Josh Reeves gets the kick up into the air. Harlequins gather it halfway between their own 10 and 22, 15 metres in from the left-hand side. The ball goes low round McKinney's ankles. The out half boots it down the pitch. Not for the first time. Josh Reeves has to turn round and run. But will the ball bubble dead? It's bubbled. It's across the goal line, and Josh Reeves has to dot it down. But you almost think it'd been better to pick that up early and go, because he now has a goal line dropout, and he has given a goal line dropout straight into the hands of Harlequins number 18, Ross Bingham. Another Drumore man for Harlequins, and Harlequins have possession inside Sligo's territory again. 20 metres in from the left-hand side, centre pitch, as the little scrum half goes for a dart. Harlequins over the top of the ball. It's pick and go through the middle. A little bit of a half go. I think that was Dundas again there, maybe the last try score from Harlequins. Sligo's defence on the 5 metre line, making the tackles. Harlequins going right. Is it going to go wide right? There is space out there right. Sligo getting across there finally. The ball comes. Passing out right. Tackling 1 metre away from the Sligo line. Centre pitch going right. There's opportunity. 2-on-1. It's another try in the corner for Harlequins.
That was a numbers game. Just 3v2. Drawn pass into the corner, leaving Sligo the mountain to climb now.
It truly is a mountain. 32-22, and the wind and yellow cards and everything has changed this game on its head. It's almost representative of what happened in Dungannon the last time Sligo were across the border. Just
that's what it is when your set
so
piece falls
dominant.
apart. It's very hard to build yourself a platform.
Again, so dominant in that first half, but Harlequins 32, Sligo 22.
Yeah, there's still time. This is when the leaders need to step up now and really rally the troops. There is still time to score. This Sligo team can score from anywhere, and they can score in quick succession like we did in the first half.
Yeah. It's just about keeping the ball, isn't it? It takes me almost, this whole thing started from a charge down.
Yeah, that kick.
That charge down kick, and when you're on the back foot, it's very hard to change the momentum,
Correct.
isn't it? It's
momentum
all
is
about
certainly with
momentum
Harlequins now. So we need something to spark us back into life. We need a big carry. We need a line break. We need something just to get the boys back into life. but McKinney's certainly enjoying that wind in his back now, and he's just sitting back, finding the gaps. That was his kick down the middle that put us under pressure. That 50-22, he's really stepped up in the second half, hasn't he?
Yeah, it's easy to look back in hindsight. Do you think should Sligo have used that wind a little bit more, kicking to the corners in the first half?
I think just with the nature of the game, it was going to be just a very attritional game when everyone came out.
And there
that was the final whistle.
is the full-time whistle. It's sneaked up on us because this match has been just incredible. So there it is, the All-Ireland League Division 2B match. Belfast Harlequins 32, Sligo 22. 5 tries for Belfast Harlequins, the majority coming in that. All of them, in fact, come in that second half. 3 tries for Sligo. What are your thoughts, Ross, at the end of that one?
Real tough one. We were in complete control until that block down. And then just with the injuries, losing Rob Holian and Pedro Belgallo in the first 10 minutes of the game, that 2 cornerstones of your set piece and pack. It was going to be a big ask. But look, the boys kept to it, and we got ourselves into a position. But just look, there was unluck, and then we just got a little bit frustrated with ourselves, and we didn't get the phases together. But look, massive win for Harlequins, and a deserved win in the end. This season, every weekend's a cup final. As I said, there's a lot of wounded men there. There's a lot of men in the treatment table, so we just need to get the bodies right, and we need to just, next game's the next biggest game.
Yeah, and I suppose from a Sligo perspective, you've got time. 19th of February against Blackrock, another crucial one in the middle of that 2B match. Well, listen, thank you very much for joining us. I hope you've enjoyed that Notion FM. Myself, Graham Dewhurst and Ross O'Boyle. The end of that All-Ireland League Division 2B match from Derrimore Park in Belfast. It's Belfast Harlequins 32, Sligo 22.
I'm going back to where the beach is near, the beer is dear, there's plenty of women on the crack. Walking
Here we are in the final second. The whistle is gone, and Sligo Rovers are the champions.
By the riverside, you can watch the tide as it flows.
No, I'm being told that Average Joe's does not have enough players and will be forfeiting the championship match.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
Very tight and drive it clean out over the fence. Out in the field, the corner. Jesus,
in the bookie shop, I done.